All right, so I feel so much better today. I even felt so much better yesterday afternoon. Just, I don't know, like that process of releasing and the realization, I still trips me out. Because I had not realized that at all until I put that together yesterday, where I sold my soul when I was 20. And it started me in the matrix of deceit and greed and hatefulness and stuff. I wonder if it really is something like that. Like Pinocchio has to decide to go to the island or something, you know? It is, I don't really remember all of Pinocchio's story, but it seems like he wants to find out he's a real boy. And then he's getting all these distractions and the temptations. And when you follow through on the temptations, you have to go through a cycle. And so mine going and doing something that I didn't really want to do for money, and it started this whole relationship cycle of, I don't know, deceit and like I wasn't ever recognized, I wasn't seen, it was just struggle and pain. And so, anyways, and it was a long cycle until I finally got shoved out of it. When I got shoved out of it, see, I could have gone in a lot of different directions because I think it goes in a lot of different directions for a lot of different women. But for me, and, and I could go through and explain, like, I mean, everything was there for me to fall apart. Everything was there for me to just go off the deep end. And I'm just not like that. Even if I start getting out of balance, right away I get uncomfortable and I have to pull back in. And so, yeah, I can't just go off the deep end like that where I just give up on life, you know? You just got to keep struggling and pulling through and pulling through. But yeah, when I got knocked off that ride of this selling my soul, and then, I had to go through, that's when I went through the dark night. And that is when, it was weird because it was just like the things I remember coming out of it with were realizing that we all have good and bad inside of us. There was a lot of stuff, man. It was a lot of stuff I realized. It was all spiritual stuff. It wasn't stuff to like hate myself or, oh, that one thing you did. No, and all the different things that would happen in every experience, I can see it from all these different angles. Like I can see where someone's coming from. I can see where I affected my daughter this way or that way, but I also can see what I was going through. So I began to learn compassion for myself. That is the part where that was the big thing, I think, was being able to learn compassion for myself and my mistakes and understand that, I'm only human, and to not judge myself and be hard on myself. And it was like I kind of needed to support that girl. Like she was struggling so hard. And so, getting ahead, that doesn't do any good to hate the person you were. You got to look back and with compassion and love and forgiveness of yourself and stuff. So it's a process, that you go through in the dark night. It's hard because it's like this ego death because, everybody wants to go around and think they're the perfect ones. They do no wrong. Everybody else is doing something. That's why you got to move out of that victim mentality. It's a part of the ego death. And he's already been up a couple of times and been out. Like, I don't know what's going on with him. So, anyways, okay, I'm gonna let him out. Jackie, better be calm. I'm telling you. Start in. We're going back in there. Go lay down. Not on me. And then, so it's like an ego kind of resolve, because it's not an ego death. I mean, you need your ego, you need it, but you need balance. And this world has created an imbalance, and it was like selling your soul. So you go and you do something that you don't want to do, and then you see what happens. There's a reverberation, there's a ripple out effect from every choice you make. And, but it's destiny. It was always supposed to be that way. That was my ride. That was what I came here to learn, to experience. And, that is part of spiritual, is the ability to look at things and see things for what they are and understand them on a deeper level. And, that's what I had wanted out of this relationship when I had told my husband that I was raising the kids with that I wanted our relationship to be based on spirituality, because it's deeper. You talk about things different. You look at things different. You're trying to understand the things that happen to you different. So it's a completely different, oh my gosh. Okay, this is, I swear, just how it's been lately. It's just very chaotic. And all night long. And it smells so farty right now. I feel like I'm gonna puke. Oh my God. I think this dog has got a fart problem. Jack, lay down. Maybe he has to go out and go poop again. I'll go let him and see if he needs to go out. Hold on. You gotta ring the bell. That's what the bell's for. If you gotta go potty, you can ring the bell. Maybe that's it. Maybe he has to go poop again. What did he see? Is this rain? I'm telling you, people think I sound so fucking wacky when I say this shit. But when there is no reason, my dogs aren't going to any kennel. They aren't even around other dogs. And it's all from environmental. The environment is making us sick. And then you got to start thinking. And this, yesterday, so I went up to the library to pick up a book. It was the weirdest experience. I can't even tell you. It was like, I swear to God, it was like in the Truman Show when he goes into the travel agent. It was like that. It was so weird. And I had this horrible, horrible migraine. And my shoulder was just killing me. And my neck, every time I would move my neck, I would make these crunch noises. And I was so uncomfortable. I had such a headache, and it's so bright in the library. And just this weird interaction happening. And then she had to start over. And there was this other girl over here staring over. Everything was so robotic, and like it was tripping me out. And so I'm sitting there looking around, looking at the books, and I'm thinking, man, I can see pretty good. Hold on. And I was thinking, man, I can see pretty good. Man, my eyes have improved. I haven't even noticed how much my eyes have been improving. I was like, dang, I think I could read some books. And so I'm sitting there looking at the books. It's like being in a candy store, when you're standing there, it's like, I wonder what's in that one. I wonder what's in that one. And it's like all these stories are surrounding me. And so I'm standing there, and I'm thinking about that and thinking, okay, hurry. All I could do is swipe my fucking library card and give me the book. And what is taking so long? How is this so hard? And then this creepy woman and stuff. And so then she keeps saying things. And so I look over and I find myself do this like fake ass smile, just like, and all of a sudden I'm thinking like, that's how it's done. But, oh my God, hold on. See, can you imagine me going live? Just ran into the creeper. It would be just utter chaos. She's lingering there because she's waiting for her boyfriend. She's waiting for him to catch on to his role. Like he does sometimes, but other times she's always like, dude, where's my escort? And he's laying over here like, fuck, I got your bed down. It's all nice and cozy. And, okay, so anyways, so I'm up in the library and the lady's having this weird interaction and just like, oh, what is your address? Oh, wait, it didn't work. Let's try this again. I was like, this is the weirdest thing. And then this woman starts talking, but it's the same thing. When I look over at this woman, she's just like it's so creepy. And then when they start talking to me and I turn and I just do the same thing, I'm just like, oh, it's just so weird. And so I'm sitting here I'm just sitting here thinking about like as an observer watching this whole thing and this weird phony interaction and questioning myself, like, why'd you do that weird smile? That was weird. And so it was like the whole thing was weird. And so then I start leaving to go out, and there's two big water fountains, but they're closed off. And each water fountain has a sign, and it says Whatcom County. The water is it's too chlorinated and it's toxic and it's not drinkable. I don't remember how they worded it, but it was basically that's what it said. And so I'm thinking, so did they send this in an email? Do we have to go to the library to find this stuff out? You know, because this is the kind of shit, like they send things out and I don't think people pay attention. People are busy. They have another focus. So the water company sends an email and it just looks like some bullshit thing. And you're not thinking they're telling you, because like when I was drinking that water, when I got E. coli from drinking the faucet water, and it was in Spokane, but it was in Pasadena Park, where they had a lot of problems with water and they would blame it on the cows. But I was sick as shit. And then I heard on the news that it was E. coli was in the water and you needed to not be drinking it. And then you have to go, well, and then I hadn't even put it together too, that I had a bottle of water I would keep by my bed so that I could take a drink if I woke up with my throat scratchy. And so I had forgot to dump it out and get new water. So I was taking these sips. I don't know. It could have been every night. Like when I was going to bed, take a little sip and set it down and not even thinking about it. But anyways, so when I saw those signs, I was like, oh my gosh. So, you know, have they sent something out? Is it like up to us to know if our water is not drinkable? And then I 100% know that they did something to this water, the water that I go and get from the public well thing. And and the reason I feel so certain of it is because I saw another guy in another city. I think it was over on the East Coast somewhere. And he was talking about the public well that they all go to get spring water, like what we do. And he said that they closed it off. They said that it was contaminated. They won't let the people in. They closed it off and stuff. I was like, see, they know where these little public wells are. They're fucking with all of our water. And I did start, I don't know. It's always like you start trying to put together symptoms and stuff. And I had noticed because I had gotten that castor oil shampoo bar. So I had washed my hair like, I don't know, every 4 days or something like that. And my hair has been just falling out and falling out. And and it's been really sore. Like when I try and comb it and stuff, and then it gets really tangly. And so that's why I would wash it and stuff. I was like, man, is it sticky? and but anyways, then I was like, oh my gosh, so if our water's got all this chlorine in it, it's probably fucks our hair up, fucks our skin up. Your skin's drier, and then look at it, it's in the winter, and so then your skin gets really dried out, and then you go down to if you go to the doctor, you get a prescription cream. No telling what all's in there. But even if you go and buy over the counter, go buy Avena or something like that, it still is full of a bunch of chemicals, toxins and shit. And then they rain other shit on top of you. I mean, I think it's so absurd. But this is how all this awakening is, It's so absolutely absurd. It's just mind-boggling how people just keep, like at the library, just, hi, here's your thing, let's go. I was like, what the fuck? Like when you break free, it's like, oh my God, everything's so weird. And so what was I about to say? Because I have this other thing on my mind too, with this flat earth thing and this radio station I had heard. But I wanted to finish this real quick. So, okay, the library, the weird ass fucking people, Man, there was something else. I guess it'll come back around. Because I know I was in the middle of saying something. But when I went to go get my water, I don't know. It seems like I'm having to go every couple days. It's weird because it seems like time keeps spreading, but then it's like I have to wash my clothes again, and it seems like it's only been 2 days. Last night, I am not shitting you. I'm gonna pause it right now and see how many hours it's showing. I mean, it's wacky. It is 3 hours. There's no freaking way. Because yeah, the first time it was 4 hours and 11 minutes. And so then I was like, okay, well, okay, so I could have been asleep 4 hours and 11 minutes. But then I was up after that. And it would all of a sudden start a commercial. And so I'd have to, and I kept going back. So I saw how many times. And it was 4 hours, 2 hours, and 3 hours. And it's 3:30 in the morning, and these times, like, it has not been 3 hours since I just went back and did that. No way. It's been maybe, I don't know, 2 hours and 11 minutes comes in my mind. It's there's just everything's out of sync. Just all this stuff is out of sync. It's weird. And let me think. Okay, so back wherever I was, so, you see, that's kind of stuff like that's one of the things that woke me up one of the times is because you are sound asleep and all of a sudden this just jolts in. I've got to make a playlist on Spotify and figure out, because even Spotify sent me a message the other day and said it can do a black screen. And so I was like, okay, I need to do a hertz thing, which, by the way, 180 to 120 hertz is for muscle pain and stuff. And my shoulder was hurting so bad yesterday on my neck and stuff, and I put on that healing frequency for pain, muscle pain. I could feel it in my muscles. It was trippy. And I had to put it up so loud. I do need headphones, but then the headphones aren't even good for it. Like, everything is so fucking toxic. That's what it was. It was something I was saying about the stuff that's not good for you. The environment. And I know that's, I mean, for him all of a sudden to be having some kind of thing, I mean, I keep feeding him the same stuff. I always give him, I got him puppy food from that, I don't know, the dog food I get is expensive as shit. It's over $100. And I think his bag was, maybe his was 120, I don't know. I think his was 130 or something for the puppy food or something. And Stella's is like 100. It's expensive. But that's the kind of stuff I put my money into, is health stuff. I put it into our health. Oh yeah, and the washing and the water. But oh yeah, because I wanted to say that too. Because the other day my daughter was asking me something about, what do you take for fiber? Which, another thing too, I started thinking, I think that my kids see me like that lady off of that Mother of God thing. Because I don't know, the whole thing with her being skinny and stuff. And so I was like, do they think that I'm just not eating or something? I eat all the time. I'm telling you, the weight falls off as you heal. It's like you don't need it. It's there for something, and it just falls off of you. It's not like, because I eat. It's not like I'm not eating. And, but I keep losing weight. Like I said, it could be cancer for all I know. I mean, we need the frequency stuff, but I'm always putting it on. I'm always spending time. And I'm changing all my products to all be natural. And so she'd asked me about the fiber thing, and I said, well, I don't ever eat fiber. I said, I don't really need any. I drink a lot of roots. I drink a lot of root tea. And she's like, what's that? And so then I sent her all those and everything. And so I do think that it does keep you super regular. And I think it does do a lot of regeneration in your body and stuff. But another thing too, was coming in my head real quick while I was saying that. Another thing about it with root. Oh, is because like in mine, I make a chai tea mix in it. So I put clove in it, cloves. it's got clove powder, and then plus I take charcoal, and so because all of the things like black seed oil, all these different things that kill parasites or anti-parasitic and all that, and antimicrobial and all that stuff. When you're getting rid of debris and toxins out of your body, it needs a carrier agent, just like how I said that mucus is used as a carrier agent. And so um, people are saying powdered cloves, pills, like people are taking pills, but I take it in my tea. And so clove powder, and then I have been taking charcoal to see if that would make me feel better, because I was like, man, maybe I've just got a real buildup of toxins and I'm not getting them out. Because when you are, it's like you're moving them around and leaving them out in the streets with nowhere to go. And so you can start feeling sicker, and there's so much toxins in our environment. It's like you've got to constantly be flushing your system to get them out, and there's still some that have made home inside of you. And so it's like, especially like now, it's a constant battle for your health. And then so many people run to them for the answers, and it's like, no, you gotta just let your body heal. Like, I'm telling you, that drove it home about the hep C thing. I mean, that really, because I had other things like even when I had the Epstein-Barr, everything I was getting diagnosed with was after the fact. And there was, with Epstein-Barr and with, what is that called? Mono. They inflame certain lymph nodes. And so they can tell that you've had these things from your lymph nodes. And then the Epstein-Barr, or well, then they did lab works and it confirmed the thing. So then they knew. But I know when I had the Epstein-Barr, I was just super, super weak. I was so weak and so tired. And that is how they start the autoimmune stuff. So I know I've got autoimmune stuff. So I know my body is going to be a lot more reactive to toxins and stuff. So people around me, they can keep on going, not notice a thing. But that doesn't mean it's not affecting them. I just have more sensitivity. So my body is just like, oh my Lord. It's like hell to the no. It's like all these toxins are fucking murder. So, but a lot of people just zoom around and, don't even realize they're sick. So, I can hear Stella doing her, it's like a dolphin cry. Hold on, let me see. This is chaos. Come on. Come on, come on. Stella, come on, hurry up. You know I'm doing something. No, we're not doing that. I'm busy. I'm working. I always tell her this is my work. I'm working. This is my work. It is my work. That's what it is. This was something that I set as my schedule that I do every day, and it makes me feel better. And I mean, you guys tell me that it helps you guys, so to me, it's positive. To me, I feel like I'm putting positive energy out, even if some of the things that I do or say is negative. It's like, how is it that negative is bad? Isn't it just a part of our existence? It's what we do with the positive and the negative. It's how we work it. It's what we make magic. So it's not something that, I don't know. I'm not trying to spread hate and division, even when I call things out that I think is, really toxic and negative. But anyways, so let me think back where I was. Okay, so I think adding in all the different root teas and stuff like that has made changes in my health. I for sure think that. But I think that we're definitely fighting an environment, and I think that you do need to use like these carrier agents to get the stuff out in order to get it, purged out of your system. Otherwise, it will hang up in different places, and that's when it can become like tumors and stuff. And see, to me, it was the Hep C one was when I thought, man, we heal. Because I was a nurse. You gotta think about this too. I was a nurse. And, I didn't know anything about Hep C. I mean, I had heard of HIV and AIDS and stuff like that. And then once I became into medical and stuff, I started hearing out Hep C was way worse because it was so much more catching, and it lives, even if you wipe the blood up, it will live there longer than HIV will. You can wipe it and it dies way quicker. And so there's a lot of stuff like that. So I knew about it a long time ago, and then I saw a lot of effects of it through my career as in medical. And because that started like when I was 25, I think I started in medical. And then I took the time, out where I was a tattoo artist and then a stay-home mom. And so then but they went back to medical. And I was really thinking yesterday too about how part of the education in the medical field has to do with they build your ego. Like they are creating the monsters. It's so clear to me now. Estelle, please don't. I'm trying to work, okay? And because Jack's got her bed too. See, it's just constant drama. See why I always try and do this while everybody's asleep. It's like constant interruption. And it's hard when you're trying to really focus on your thoughts, and it's just interrupt. So anyways, with that, the Hep C, it was a death sentence for a long time. And then there was some sort of medicine that they had come up with that was, helping people. And where I had started hearing stuff about that, I don't remember hearing about it when I was a nurse. It wasn't like people came into the ER to get that. That's stuff that would be in doctor's offices. Like when you work at the hospital, you deal with different things than when you work at doctor's offices. And so but when I went to work at the prison, which was very short-lived, because of a whole incident that happened there, and but when I was working there, I was the nurse, so some of those guys would get those shots, and they would have to get these shots, like I don't know, once a month or something. And it was for them, their Hep C, and the government would provide these shots, and they were super, super expensive. I don't remember, because you got to remember, this is a laundry thing. This is a game they play, and so I think the shots were like $10,000, but really they're like 2 cents, and so, but it's how they do these charges and stuff. It's how they work. It's their games they play with the money. And that's why it's all, motherfucking manipulation and shit. And so these people get these expensive ass shots. And I was talking to one of the guys one of the times, and he was giving me all this information. And he was talking about how much he was hoping. I can't remember all the stuff he was telling me, but it was like the shots don't work for everybody. Some people still die. He was just really hoping that his was going to work, and he had to fight the system to get it or something. I don't remember all the stuff he was telling me. It was a long while ago. And it was before my brain injury, so it's just like a little flash it's like Swiss cheese, in my mind. And so, but it impacted me on that you die or you get this shot. Luckily, if you get this shot, then you can live. And so, I just didn't really think that much about it. I've always had that kind of idea, whatever happens is supposed to happen. And so, Stella, please stop it. Whatever's happening. Oh my God, 28 minutes. Oh my fucking God. Okay, hold on. Let me move him. Do you want your bed? Is that what you're whining about? I'm trying to do something. Go, Jack. You can't just take her bed. Go lay on the couch. God, you are so huge. I can't tell you how huge this guy has gotten so fast. He's giant. He's so heavy. Okay, there. Go get on your bed and stop it. She'll keep doing it. It's just, I don't know. It's just what's going on in the world. It's so fucking weird. It's so weird. So, anyways, so when my, one of my last appointments that I had in the medical, when she had said that she wanted to check for that because it's an epidemic in my age range. And so I'm thinking, what, from all the people back in the 80s, they all shoot up cocaine or something? Like, what? How is this an epidemic? I guess because they're all sleeping around and passing it around, because it's just like HIV, you get it from having sex. And a lot of people have both. So I was like, man, I don't know. I'm just sitting there thinking, I wasn't asking her all this stuff. I was just sitting there thinking, like, how weird. It's an epidemic for people my age. And because I'm thinking, through all of my reference material of the disease. And so then when she calls me back to go over my labs, and she tells me that I had the antibodies, but I didn't have it. And so I'm like, well, I probably got that thing. And she said, no, there's not one for that. It's for a different one, but it's not for that. It's for, I think, the one that you can get off food or something, Hep A or something. And, or maybe it's Hep B, but you can get a shot for something, one of those kinds. But C is different, and there's no for that. And so I was like, well, I don't know. I mean, the antibodies. And she's like, yeah, so you had it. You can't have the antibodies without having the disease. So you've had it, but you cured yourself. You cured yourself. And I was like, so I had Hep C and then I cured myself? And she goes, yeah, it happens. And I was like, whoa. It really took a while to sink in. And then all of a sudden I was like, fuck, man, I'm a fucking superhero. God damn. But my point is that when you allow your body to heal, it's fucking magnificent. But most people don't give it a chance. And I think that I've just had so much illnesses and stuff. I just don't run to the doctor for everything. And so, especially during all that sickness, and I have no idea when I had it. It could have been when I was so sick and I thought I was dying. Could have been I had all that stuff and I had a cure from all that stuff. But people go and run to the doctor and they just make people sicker and sicker. And so, I think it's important for people to realize that you got to give your body, like, do everything you can, like chicken soup, orange juice, cutting onions and keeping them in your socks overnight is huge. Putting a cut potato in your sock when you're sick overnight pulls the bacteria out. Like, there's all these old wives' tale, all these old things that work, that are natural. I even saw somebody, it was Bashar, being questioned or something at a conference. Because he does a lot of conferences, I think, where people like Abraham Hicks, all these people gather and ask questions. And somebody asking about cannabis and trying to compare it to alcohol. And he said, hey, wait a minute, it's totally different. He said, it's natural plants. Plants are here for you to help you. And that has not only just medical things, but has a connection that connects you to the outside realms. And that's what I said. I said when I smoked it, I was like, it was like all of a sudden it's just like the world opened up. And it was like, hey, guys, nice seeing you. It was like I could hear so much more. There was so much more that was coming in. And I was like, whoa, I love this stuff. And then plus, it totally helps, like with medical. Like, my head is hurting and hurting and hurting. You go smoke a couple of hits, and then it's magic. Your head isn't, and it will start hurting again later, depending on the thing. But always while I'm doing that stuff, I'm trying to do other things too, like try and ask, what are you trying to show me? You're asking your body, what are you trying to show me? What is it I need to see? What do I need to release? What am I holding on to where this energy is so held in? How do I release it? And it's just a whole process. I got to show this because this was this little Buddha charm I had gotten a long time ago. And so I made this necklace. This was the necklace I would wear all the time when I was a nurse. All the time because there was I don't know, it was kind of like pressure that you weren't a Christian. And so, you had to be something. People couldn't understand it. When you said spiritual, I'm spiritual. I'm telling you, people will go blank, like this is a completely different thing. Like, people think this is Well, this is way different when you are actually living a spiritual life amongst people who are not spiritual. And then when you would when you could witness, like, you guys aren't being connected to your spirit or soul. You're connected to a book or an idol or an idea. It's like, I could see it. I mean, you can't point shit out to people. They don't want to hear it. They don't want, and then you end up looking crazy. So that's how I've spent my life, because that's one thing I do is say whatever I think. And then I get a lot of rejection. But, and you know what I just saw too? And this is, I've talked about this so many times because, uh, for me, when I was in school and I would go into class and, I would either, cut up and get in trouble for that because, what is that? Impulsively say things. And so then everybody'd start cracking up. And so I'd get in trouble. Like, I was trying to cut up in the class, or something. I was like, oh, I just think of things and I just say them. And so, and then for some reason, I'd just say things that were really funny. And I would have people tell me that all the time. I have as grown-ups, that one birthday party, that little kid's birthday party. I was a little kid and I was just talking. And the parents are all cracking up and they're like, are you going to be a comedian? You could be a comedian. And it's like, I'm just talking. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But anyways, so there was that part of me. Then there was this other part of me, like the part that I was talking about yesterday, where you could come up and start talking to me and I'd be like, because I was always in this deep thought, I wasn't just there. My body's there, but I'm not there. My mind is somewhere else. It's never been fully here. It's always been lingering out somewhere else. I've always been in another world. And so it makes sense to me, when people would say that, but it always seemed mean back then. But it's taken me a while to understand all this stuff. And that's why I try and say stuff about diagnoses and stuff, because how they limit you and they make you think you're different than what you are. And so in school, it would be, I would go into, the teacher would start talking in that monotone hum, and I took nothing and I was gone. And I wouldn't know I wasn't there until the bell rang. And then I would be back in the room and I would be like, what the hell? What's going on? What are we doing? Did I just miss the whole class? What's wrong with me? And I would always think, what the fuck is wrong with me? And my grades, were going down and stuff. And, and I wouldn't do those, like I said before. My guides always told me, don't do those tests. They always told me just fill in the dots. And so even when I try to read the questions, it would just be like, I couldn't understand them. And so I just would fill in the dots. And that's why I say, you don't see when you're not supposed to see. You will see what you're supposed to see. Like, for all of us who want to be concerned about our family members and stuff, we got to remember this is their soul's design to this. Their soul came up with this whole plan, and we agreed to it. We agreed to this interaction. So, and sometimes it's hard to believe. It's real hard to believe, but I think it's just so much because you get caught up in the storyline. When you're outside of the story, it's real easy to be like, oh, hell yeah, that's nothing. Like, I could do that. It's like when you get in there and you feel it, like, whoa, dang, it's rough, man. And so, let me think, because now it was like going off on another thing. Okay, so starting with the necklace, talking about the sickness, talking about healing yourself. What was that I went to? Talking about, like, I feel like I can hear you guys yelling at me right now of what I'm saying. That's distracting. Okay, let's see. I just need to go around. Oh yeah, okay. So, so in the classroom, I would sit there and I would zone out, and then I seemed like I was like on the slower side because I would get such bad grades. Like, I'm sure I was such a humiliation to my mom. I was, I don't know. I think it was very awkward, and anyways, the uh, so the attention deficit, and I didn't, I wasn't sure what was going on until when I was working for the internal medicine doctor, and we started having people getting diagnosed with that. And then I would read what it was, and I was like, oh, this is what I had. Okay, so I was just prior to diagnosing, and so I was like, oh, this is what I had. And so then, and it's kind of like your mind jumps around. That's something with the test. It's something about how your mind jumps around. And so, anyways, later on, when they were doing all the testing on my brain injury and my brain and all that stuff, then I got the real diagnoses. But I already knew. And then I already had kids that had it, and they were diagnosed. So I already knew I had that label. And then, but the thing is, living your life before the label, and just having to, it's like you had to figure out ways to adapt. You had to create adaptable ways for yourself to exist when you have these things that are different than somebody else. And so, and in school, there's a lot of adapting in school. And so I've just always been one of those people. Like, it's always been trying to, just like when they said, oh, the right hand test and the left hand test. And then when I found out there was kids that could do both, I was like, well, hell yeah, I'm doing both then. Because, my driving thing was always like, well, what if this one got cut off? What would I do? I gotta be able to use this one. So, anyways, I've just been like that. And so, when I see these people, I'll surrender to their diagnoses. So I saw this girl, and this morning, and she was doing this video of her, she's completely paralyzed by her attention deficit. That she cannot, and she's so stressed. She's so stressed. And she has had this project that she said is maybe a 20-minute project. Are you freaking kidding me? I look for those motherfuckers. 20-minute project that I love projects. Like, goddamn, give me a project. And, it just, my brain is so stimulated by it. And and it's the kind of stimulation I like. The kind of stimulation I don't like is loud crashing and banging and blowing shit up and jumping from one scene to another. I hate that kind of stimulation. But this other kind, this more productive, creative kind, I love it. And so so I'm listening to this girl, and she's younger, she's got the diagnosis, she's probably been on meds for it and shit. And so she's talking about, this is so horrible. People just don't understand how horrible it is. Like, when you've got attention deficit, and then you just have a project and you just can't do it. You just can't make yourself do it. It'll sit there and sit there, and it's just sitting over there. And you can just keep thinking about it and stressing about it, not getting it done and all this stuff. I'm just like, what in the world? And, so I commented, and I said something like, "Oh, attention deficit has been the greatest thing for me." Like, I don't remember what my comment said, but I said a different perspective, and she is because she's focused on this negative thing or something. It's like, dude. Besides the fact that if you got a project, that's called procrastination. There's more, that's why I said there's more going on than just attention deficit here. Because attention deficit, I get shit done, man. Where other people, like, can't get stuff done, they can't get organized and stuff. It's like, oh, it's like a gift. And so it's like, dude, you're a fucking procrastinator. And procrastination drives me crazy. I had a daughter who was a procrastinator. I was just constantly like, oh my God, because all these different things. And she'd be like, did you get that done? No. I'd be like, oh my God, that is procrastination. You have got to break that. You can't just leave all this open-ended shit. Yeah, what a fucking burden. Just like this girl. She's so burdened by this job she can't get done. And then she's blaming it on her attention deficit because it's paralyzing her because she can't get it done. And so then, I left my comment. It was a different perspective. I wasn't trying to be mean to her or anything. I wasn't trying to be like, oh, no, you're an idiot. But it was a different perspective. And then, but I went in and was looking at the comments. And in the comments, it was all just like the same as her. All these people, oh, yeah, it's so hard. Nobody understands attention deficit paralysis and all this. It's like, are they coming up with new labels for you guys to just give up on life? To just quit trying, quit doing things for yourself, quit developing yourself, just sit back and be held back by all these limitations of your diagnoses and oh my God, I can't do it. Oh, it's so hard. It's like, you know what stops being hard is do it. Do it. Do things that make you uncomfortable. Like, I don't understand how you have a project sitting there that it just is like, well, this, like if I don't know, maybe they look at things different than a project. Maybe they look at like cleaning the kitchen as a project or something. Maybe they look at it like, I don't know, sometimes my kitchen table has a bunch of stuff piled on it. Maybe they would be like, well, oh, that's a project. It's got to be clean. And I look at it as like, well, I've got stuff sitting there. I don't know. I mean, it's strange to me. It's strange that you would have like, well, I've got to fold the clothes. Got that project ahead of me, so I'm just going to sit and stress about it because like, oh my God, then I'd have to fold them. Then I got to put them away. Then I gotta, make room in my drawers. I mean, it's like, what? I don't understand why you just sit there and overwhelm yourself or something. Like, it's important. This is, the thing I like about Buddhism that I learned about it is it's a philosophy, and it represents like deeper thought and more of a purpose. But so, for like the dishes or something, whatever project it is, like I've talked about before, whether it's your weight, whatever it is, you take it on. You don't take on the whole thing. You don't sit there and overwhelm yourself. You just start. You just start. And then you break it down into smaller increments. And so, like when you have a giant mess in the kitchen, you have so many dishes to clean, you don't look at it as the whole mess. You look at it as what you have in the sink and wash them and get finished with them. And then, this is how I do it, is wash those ones, put those ones in the dryer thing, and then put the next ones in to soak in the sink, let those ones dry, then go back later. And, maybe I'm up going to the bathroom and it's like, oh, I'll do another load of dishes. Take those ones, put them away, do the next set. People will, because some project seems too big and overwhelming, they just will leave it and it will get bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, there's no reason to get overwhelmed by the things that you got to get done and you're becoming paralyzed. Like there's more going on. Like for them to just sit there and think like, oh, this is attention deficit. No, it's not. It's not just attention deficit because we're not all like that. To me, I mean, I've been great at getting projects done always. Like I've been somebody in my family would help other people get projects done. It's because I can go in, I can see, I can categorize, I can look at this, look at that, I can put them all into, divide them into categories, and I can completely organize. And that is, my brain developed things because I had to. It's like a survival. Like your thing, you have to develop but see, that's where they want you to go on a pill because you're not developing. And so we've got all these people who have been on pills for all these diagnoses who are not developing these parts of themselves that are making them feel more insecure and creating more problems. And then they're coming up with more pills to cover those problems. It's like, Jesus Christ, this is mental. And then the thing is, too, is you can't be on all those chemicals and be healthy. So then your health starts deteriorating. People start aging way faster, and that starts stressing them out. And then on top of that, then they're aging themselves because they're stressed out and all these chemicals and stuff. And so it's a cycle of defeat. It's no way to live. And they know that. They know what they're doing to people, and it's all on purpose. All of it is on purpose. And it's, I mean, this stuff just gets creepier and creepier, I swear to God. With the whole thing with the religion and these people using beards and masks to hide the truth. And the truth is right in front of people's faces, but people are in denial. People are in ego. Religious people don't want to see this dark side of religion. And they definitely don't want to face the fact they've been fooled. And I mean, the information is just everywhere at this point. Like, I don't even know that there was really a Jesus at this point. I mean, when you see this, that they made the story, they took, it was like some other guy, Yah, and then this other guy named Krishna, I think, is who they took. And so then they put it together, these two deities, to create Jesus for their story, and then they took other stories to create this book to control people. And there's a whole thing about it going from this other version into the King James version, and all of this stuff that was taken out before King James got his hands on it. And it just blows my mind how all these people think they're so connected to the Holy Spirit. But then why isn't your Holy Spirit inside of you telling these people are lying to you? Like, how connected are you? What are you connected to? And like I had said yesterday, it's like, and right there, see, it always does this kind of stuff. There it is again on this. And this is a different thing. But it is a guy, and he's like standing out in space, like a light body. He looks like a light body, but the darker parts, but it shows everything, like this whole universe inside of him, whole universe outside of him, but the light inside of him beaming out. And see, we're the light inside. And so many people don't connect to that light inside and become who you truly are. So many people are connected to the outside. And look at how much darkness there is. The density, like everything is micro and macro. There's a density to get to the light. There's work to be done. You have to, like, I just feel so, man, I mean, when I witness what is going on in this world, it's just like, oh my God, I feel so fortunate that I had my guide stop, I think at this point I would be called a contactee. I think that's what these people are calling themselves, who were little kids and have been talking to these people their whole lives. I think that's what, I would be called. And that's why it was always easy for me to say, aliens are real. And then, I don't know, people just always think I'm crazy. When I say, there's people talking to me. And, but I thought for so long that everybody had it. When I started saying it, I just thought it was so weird. My interactions with people would be so weird. But now, I see it's because I was the only one in the room that was looking at shit this way. Everybody else was looking at it a different way. Just like Truman Show comes back into my mind again, him living the one reality and everybody else is living a different reality. And so it was like that, I was living one reality, but I was like, I didn't realize everybody was living this different one. 2020 really opened my eyes so much, but it was seeing myself different is what all of a sudden it was like, oh my gosh. And you see yourself different, and you see everything different. You see your interactions different. You see the people you interacted with. When you're no longer the victim, is when you become more empowered, and then you start seeing the interactions with the people. And then for me, I just started seeing like, oh my God, I was feeling bad about myself. I was feeling like something was wrong with me. And all these people were just programmed and weren't able to move out of their program. And I was the oddball out because I didn't have the same program as, I had to sell my soul to get caught up in that matrix of craziness. But I still had my guides with me. Like, I still have always gone inside when I go through things. Always, all through all of that business I went through with all of these, I don't know, it was mostly all the people that I interacted with were takers, were taking something. And, I swear, I felt like life was hard. I felt like life was so, so hard for so long. It was like I was born into problems. And you want to know something weird, Crystal, is that story you told about the mom and the gun thing. That happened to my mom when I was 6 months old, and but it was my dad, and she was holding me on her lap while he was holding that to her head, and she said, well, I'm sure that traumatized you. But I mean, I was born into trouble. Like, there was trouble from the moment I came onto this planet. And it was, it was intense stuff. But again, I know nothing can happen that's not supposed to happen. I know all the people who are leaving and transitioning out because that's what's meant to happen. Nothing happens by accident. Nothing happens by mistake. Everything is completely predestined. The moment you're born and the moment you leave, it's all at your window of time. And there's so much to learn about this window of time and so much to learn about loss and stuff. Just yesterday, even, I was just like, man, if something happens to my youngest daughter through this stuff, and where our relationship ended, like, I get it all on a spiritual thing, like, there's no real endings. You just pick up somewhere else in another life. But I was like, it just is sad, when anytime that your time with these people ends, it's just like, oh my gosh, it makes you have so much gratitude for the time you had, but also to see the limitations in that time and wishing that you could have used it more productively and stuff. But it's a part of real life, is realizing these little interactions that come. You get a brief moment of time, and this brief moment is your opportunity to, it's all about learning and growing. Everything is about this. I mean, what does a river want to do? It doesn't want to stop. It wants to flow. And then we are energy. We're the same thing as a river. There's a water moving. And so we want to flow. We want to move. And how do you move? How do you grow? I mean, what do we think when we see people around us who have lost the ability to grow? They've become stagnant. They're stuck. And then you'll start to develop disease and sickness because it's not you're not meant to stay there, just as if a water becomes blocked off, it will become stagnant and diseased, and disease will begin to grow in the water. And so it needs movement, and we all need movement. We need development. And it's such a big part of their games. I've said this for such a long time now. When I really started thinking about, like, all these trampolines, all these devices, all the stuff, when you just see all these kids, like, all these kids around, like, I'll hear the kids over on the other neighborhood all out playing and stuff. And it always makes me happy when kids are out playing. Because it is more stimulating for your brain, even though it can be loud, but it is, it's more developing. And sitting in on devices and stuff it's stagnating. You're not developing. And hold on, my stomach's growling. I've got all these other things rushing into my mind real quick. I should have just eaten something before I started. I was like, oh, I don't want to eat before I start. So, but then my stomach starts growling. So let me think. Okay. And it distracts me, obviously, because I'm always mentioning it. And then the snoring. And then plus everything is tense. Like everything seems louder and weird. Yesterday evening, I don't know, it was around 6:30. There was 3 big explosions. I went outside to try, because I heard 2. I heard 1. I just sat there waiting to see, what happened next. And then I heard another one. And so then I thought, okay, I'm going to go outside and see what's going on and take my phone. And then when I heard the next thing, it sounded like gunshots. So then I was like, well, yeah, I have no idea. I mean, it's hard to know what's going on. I mean, we're in absolute chaos. We're in a time of change. We're in the time of all these different soul stories, falling apart. Everything is falling apart. And the Trudeau, like that guy he's a fucking, oh man, that guy's another level. I can't believe he's like an Obama to me, where everybody like looked up to him, thought he was so cool, and now his real self shows. And he's a fucking monster. And yesterday, when I went to go get water, I had Canadian radio on because my phone, again, it plugged in and it started to play, but then it just disconnects itself. Like all of my electronics keep on glitching and stuff, just like everything keeps breaking. It's weird. But I think it's just a part of the whole thing. And so I was listening to this Canadian radio station. It was 101.1, I think that was the station. And so it'd been in Vancouver. And the guy starts talking about conspiracy theorists, and that they did a study in Canada to see how many people believed in conspiracy theories and which conspiracy theories they believed in. And so he was kind of, I don't know, he kept trying to say like he was staying in the middle or something. And I wasn't going to say too much. And so then he started saying, like 80% of the people think JFK, something about JFK. And I don't know, I think it was like 30% of the people believe that the government has alien technology and is holding it back from us. Like 30% believe that some other thing. All this stuff was totally true stuff. But, it's made into a conspiracy theory. And then, though, when he got to the one, he goes, but this one's so there still is, I don't remember how many, I think they said 3%. They really tried to bring the numbers down, and then they really made fun of the numbers. And they said, like 3% of the people still think the earth is flat. Oh, this is so crazy. And so then they took calls. And those were all the calls that wanted to come in. All was about making fun of people who are so stupid that believe the earth is flat. And I went and I did a video. When I got back, I did a TikTok. And because it's just like, surely this has got to be like, surely there's more people who have caught on. Surely this isn't accurate numbers. And then plus this attitude, which is really embarrassing. They don't even know how embarrassed they're going to be. It's like, you're so embarrassing. So I did some videos saying something like that, surely people are, come on. And oh my God, I got attacked well, I only get a couple hundred views, but it was a quick attack. And somebody took my video real quick and went and put it on. And I don't know if they were trying to create drama for me or if they were being supportive. I have no idea. I was getting a bunch of rude stuff that was being said. And then even these people who are, the people who will believe, I guess, it's flat, that they believe because it's because the Bible or something. I'm not sure. The thing is like, people have to see this place is not what you think it is. It's not just a fucking flat surface or anything either. It's realms. There's realms all around us. is all based on frequency, and it is all sorts of realms and land masses and stuff everywhere, and water. It's like the universe, like in, what was that one called? It's not Avatar. It's the one. Oh man, what is that called? It's really cool. Because there's some light in these beings, and they're on their planet, and then that stuff starts busting through their realm. Like we're at war, and it starts busting through their realm, and they're more spirit beings. They may have been blue avians. Maybe that's what these people were representing. But they're a big part of this movie. And but it's realms like that. Like there's other things that we affect, and that's our ignorance. That's why we're in a containment, for one thing, because our ignorance affects others. And there's still other beings in the containment with us. There's aquatic beings, there's inner earth beings, but I think not all beings are being held back by the firmament like we are, like in the containment, because there's portals and stuff, and it's based on your frequency, how you move around. And so there is a magnetic field, there's a toroidal field, and so it's like a magnetic force that creates, and it makes these light spectrums so that we can see ourselves, so we can project, our soul can project out in these light prisms, so that we can have an appearance, so that we can see a world around us, so that we can experience. It's like a dream that we're creating. And the more that people realize that, see, the more abilities you start to have, because you become a lucid dreamer. But it's all of these realms and stuff. And I thought this is cool, because I had said the other day about the video I had seen about this other place, and this guy was on Google Maps in Antarctica. There's a lot of people who like go, and they're on Google Maps all the time looking for shit. And so this guy was looking in Antarctica, and he zoomed in on a place and found a whole city. And so then people were putting this video around everywhere, because it's this really high-tech city. And I mean, it almost looks like a Tokyo or something. It looks like really high-tech, like you can tell it's advanced society. And so then people were sharing it, saying that they had the frequency was lowered so that things can be seen. But see, it's more about what the frequency is raising. The frequency is raising on the planet, and that's why it becomes so uncomfortable. If you're low vibration, you're low frequency, then it's uncomfortable. And the way to become comfortable, of course, is healing and letting go of the things that bind you to this realm. And you got to let go of this realm in order to be more buoyant and be able to move around. And so, it's all these realms, and then things are right by you. Like there's other things that are like interactive, and then you could have more awareness of the world that is really around you. And this so this guy was showing this cool city, and people are saying, well, they took down that there's some sort of a frequency barrier or something that they use in order to contain us. But see, I think that there's more to it, because I think the firmament is a natural, it's like an organic containment of a vibration. It's more like we're in a bubble. It's more like an encapsulated tumor. And so, but there's other, realms next to us. There's other things, and that's a different vibration. And so, anyways, this village or whatever, this city, now I saw somebody else doing a video about it, and they were going on Google Maps and trying to find it, and everything is blocked out. There's big black blocks over these places, because there's probably a lot more. And there's going to be a lot more that we're going to see. And it made me even more sure that this is where Melania is from. I swear to God, there's so much stuff when you start going back over it, like people share things that Trump has said, and people will share old things, and it's like you start hearing them way different. I'm positive he has said stuff about her being an alien. To was an immigrant or something. I don't know, but it seems like that was something that there was talk. I don't know. It's popping into my mind. Something about something he said, and I just feel like he was dropping hints, because when you hear this stuff, he's constantly dropping these hints. But I don't know if, I mean, they could still be married, I guess. But I don't know, because even remember when he even went and they got to the White House, and she was staying, she wasn't going with him at first. And that all seemed weird. It was like, are they really married? Like, this is weird. But now it's like, man, is she really, just a close friend? Like she's an ambassador from another place that has come, because there could be a bunch. I mean, there's all sorts of people who are being seen where it's obvious they're in masks and stuff. Like they're trying to get people to really wake up and open their minds. But when I heard that flat earth thing and them making fun of it, it's like, oh my God. Like that is a big thing that helps you open your mind when you can release the idea of you're on a globe spinning out in space with all this stuff spinning around you, and we're just free flying through the sky, like when we're in a containment. And then you're going against everything your body tells you. It's like, well, I feel like I'm just standing here. And so, but we're fucking going 1,000 miles an hour or some shit, and spinning and all this shit. Yeah, but, gravity just holds us directly in place. We don't even get motion sickness. We feel fine. It's like, when you stop and you start thinking about that stuff and you start putting it together, and then plus, there's so many signs, there's so much scientific fact that shows it's not doing what they say. When you go and you watch these documentaries and stuff and you see, it's like this is a big one to release. Is when you can let go of that, it can really open your mind to being like, okay, well, that was the biggest lie. Like people say, like the moon landing was the biggest lie. That we're on a fucking globe spinning out in space, to me, is the biggest lie. Like that to me is like the core of it all. Like, because once you start wrapping your head around that, it is nothing about that. Everything is like water and plasma. Everything is energy, and it's how light reflects through, and then we are light, and we create these dreams, we create these games to experience ourselves, and to witness ourselves, to understand ourselves. And I don't know when people are really stuck. If they do just go back into an energetic shake up and let's try it again, roll those dice. I don't know. If it is like that, though, it would be something that you would say, yeah, man, I got too much darkness, I can't handle it. But still, there has to be a rebalancing too. Like you have to rebalance it, but maybe you can go in, get it shook up and spin out, and maybe that's what we do every time after a past life. It's like, well, I couldn't fix it with that one, so I'll go in, I'll shake it up a little bit, become somebody new, go try it again. Like, I don't know. What I do know, though, is that it is this constant rebirthing of yourself into different experiences, so that you can understand yourself, so you can witness yourself, so you can see. Because, there's so much to overcome. There's so much to champion yourself. There's so much to learn about yourself. There's so much experience to have. So much, joy, so much, just think of all the adventures and stuff that are going to begin when we, release all this, and release this concept of having to be someone's slave in order to have a place to live and stuff. So when people start getting to actually live their lives, and there's a lot more people looking into the med beds and stuff, so I'm seeing a lot more information about those. And one person was saying that there have been, because most people don't even know what they are, they've been able to start moving and getting them set up all over the place in all different towns and cities. And that, we'll be able to go in and all the things that we've heard the whole time. You can age backwards and gets all your cells, that grows back things, it takes out things that don't belong there, and it just gets you back to your optimum health. So you don't feel all this pain and suffering and stuff. And so, it's like a huge relief to feel yourself without feeling all of that. Like, I think it's going to be so magnificent. But that it's just right close. Everything is so close right now. It's like we're right up to the wall that's about to collapse. It's like we've been moving and moving closer and closer and closer, and it's been right in people's faces, and yet they still don't want to see. But it's because the wall has to fall down. They have to see what's on the other side of the wall. They got to have their noses right up there on the wall, and because they're not paying attention. I mean, in the most absurd things that keep happening, and people just don't pay any attention, or they're just like, oh my God, it sucks, or whatever. They get so focused on other stuff and other people's problems too. They get so focused, like it's such a distraction to sit there and concern yourself what's going on in somebody else's war. And especially when we have so much going on here, and then you're creating more chaos here by bringing someone else's war into our streets. It's like, and there's so much more even going on right now that is absurd with the homeless. Besides that, they just are. There's definitely homeless people out there who are sane. They are trying to get a hold of people. Family members are trying to get a hold. People are disappearing. They're just disappearing. They're leaving in vans and they're disappearing. As one guy said, he's been going and looking for these camps and stuff. They said they don't exist. These people are being taken, and they could be being held in labs and stuff. I know Trump had wanted to start healing centers and then offer them to go and then take them to healing centers so that they could start detoxing and stuff. We can hope that that's the action happening, but it's kind of hard to know because we're still breaking so free of the darkness, and so much of this dark stuff has to keep happening. And so it's very likely that they're taking the people, and then they are taking their kidneys, of course. Well, can't waste that. And then scrap metal in them, just crunching them up and feeding them back to us. And because I heard this is a horrible story, and this is socialized medicine, man. And I before, when it was in England, it was in Canada, it seems like, oh man, that's fucking cool as shit. But now seeing the dark side, now seeing what they were really doing, yeah, we'll take care of your medical, come to us, and seeing what's really going on. Then it's like, oh my God, what a fucking trap. So this couple have a little kid, and this little kid got diagnosed with some sort of sickness that now the government says, well, we're not going to pay any more into this sickness. The sickness is a death sentence. We're just done. Especially Canada. They don't give a fuck, man. They don't give a fuck. They just want you dead. They don't care. And but this girl, she's in England. Because the woman had said, that they would send them to Canada or there's another place that's killing people right and left, euthanasia, socialized medicine. Well, government can't take care of that. You just got to do us all a favor. And so they got all these people but so this case is in England. And so this couple has this little girl, and she's sick with a sickness, and it's socialized medicine too. And so the government said, well, we can't pay any more for this. We're not paying anymore, so, she just got to die. So the parents say, well, we want to take her home and let her die at home. And they say, no, we're not going to let you do that. She has to die here in hospice. And, you guys got to realize why they always want these warm bodies right there. And, because why wouldn't they be like, yeah, it's your problem. Take it home, bury him. And for one thing, they don't want us burying shit with people in our backyards because then they can't touch the land. And so that's what I need to do. I need to just go get a dead person and bury him in my yard. Say it's my uncle. I had to bury him in the yard. There was nowhere else to put him. They try and, now they come up with all sorts of things, try to make charges on us and stuff. But if you know your rights and you know the rules, you can change it how you want, but you got to break the laws. There are mandates and stuff. You can't put dead people on your property or whatever. It's all to protect. It's all fucking games. But so this couple has this little girl in. So they went to court and fought the courts, and the court said, no, she has to stay at the hospital. You can't take her home. Then Italy stepped in and they said, well, we'll have her come over here. We'll treat her. We don't even know for sure if that's her diagnosis, but we'll treat her and it's all free here. So send her over here and we'll take care of her. So the parents went back to court to fight the government again, and the government said no. So they won't let these people let their kid get any health treatment. They won't let him leave. They've trapped her at this place. And she's just a little kid, too. She's like 6 or 8 years old or something. And these people are monsters. And they use socialized medicine as a trap, to take control of people's health and to obviously destroy us. I swear to God, I think it's a competition at this point. It's like they're running numbers. Who can kill the most of their citizens the fastest? And that's one thing over here, too, is it's becoming not just the homeless people disappearing, but they're kicking vets out. This is the absurdity. They're kicking vets out of nursing homes to make room for the migrants because the migrants need places. So they're just putting all these vets into the streets and stuff. And I saw another California street that was being shown, and I don't know where for sure, what town it is or whatever. It looked like Portland with how it was like miles of people in tents. In Portland, it was RVs and campers just lined up. All these people living in RVs and campers and stuff. This is all these tents. This is there's even like bikes out next to them, tricycles out next to them. It's like they've just made a whole village of homeless people going down this street. And, which is smart, is to, create your own village and stuff. We don't all have to live the same, especially if you're living somewhere where it's kind of warm. They're going to all be hit with all these weather things. I was reading on the Forbes thing about the doomsday map. It was saying there's going to be like 11 little islands in California. It's going to be tons of little islands, but it's all going to be the highlands. It's all going to be wherever all these different states, everything, it's got to be up in the mountains. And that's what Dolores Cannon had said that had cued her off, was that when all these generals kept moving, because she lived up in the Appalachian. Oh, and I just saw this. This was something somebody was sharing, and they said, it's real hard when you find out that your family owned all the Appalachian, like they owned this whole mountain range, and then the government came in and did something just like what they're doing all over. I've said this and said this. This is what they've been doing the whole fucking time. Just like what they did in Hawaii. And they went up and they burned it down or something and said it was toxic and took their land away from them and then made them all poor. That's what they did with all these people. And then they called them hillbillies. And these people were off living off the land. These people were all like living, having lives. And they had all these mountains. They had all that property. What does the government, the henchmen, do? These men that came in to take over this country, they come in and they burn it down. They run people off. They kill people. It's violent. It's brutal. And it's been a battle that's been going on in our country forever. And they're still going out and doing shit. And then they all get together, all these crazy-ass leaders. And they all form their own little fucking circle jerk and yank each other and pat each other on the back and grab some kids in between. And I don't know. The whole thing is just fucked up. Yeah, but you got to be able to see it. It's not a conspiracy theory. It's like right in front of your fucking face. I don't see how people just. It's like what trips me out is like I start seeing is people are just so oblivious to the life they're living, oblivious to how they live, why they live the way they live. It's just completely cut off from themselves. And and that's all a part of that chakra. That's why it's called the Kundalini rising and stuff, is because it changes your awareness. You've got to move out of the lower chakra, down in the root, and in the where you hold all of your pain and your stress. You got to start moving up and moving out, and the sacral and the heart, throat. The throat was a big one for me when I started this. And in my crown opening, it just was like party time. And so you move up through there, because before that, when you're in the lower chakras, you're just autopilot. You're just going through life, just reacting to whatever happens. It's very robotic. And that, I think, is why, we're starting to notice so many people are just robotic. And just like, I'm supposed to smile now. I'm supposed to sign, happy holidays. Everybody's just running programs all the time. And so, but that's how you break free, is to start healing and moving up the chakra. It pulls you out of autopilot, but you have to face things. You have to face sides of yourself. You have to become comfortable around people, because so many people just put on this fake ass person because they're uncomfortable. They think people are going to see them. They're going to judge them. They're going to know them. And everybody's paralyzed in fear of judgment. And you gotta, it's like you gotta put it into perspective. You're talking about one person's perspective, that it is very limited through their own view. It has nothing to do with you. So anyone's judgment is their own thing. It's their judgment inside of them. It's being there for them to witness that they're judgmental. You don't take someone else's judgment on as something about you. It's theirs. You just can look at them and go, oh, that person's judging me. They got problems still with judgment. They probably are really hard on themselves. You just let it go. It's like, why concern yourself? This person's struggling, so there's no reason to sit there and be like, I have this stuff coming in my head because, I'm always saying things like, in judgment of certain things and certain behaviors. I've got a lot of stuff where I feel like I'm pretty judgmental on things, like certain things that bother me, and I say it, and I can say it sounds super judgmental, but we are all allowed our own opinions. We can have our own opinions. I'm not saying somebody's a bad person or evil person or something. They just are unaware of themselves. And something that bothers me a lot, not just, women just revealing all their bodies like to get attention, but also the degraded way that people have become to how they talk and talk publicly. And it's just like, I don't know. I mean, it used to be not common conversation to just say titties and butthole and stuff like that, just as regular conversation. And it's just like, I don't know. It just sounds super tacky to me. It's like, isn't there other more ways to express yourself besides just, I don't know. I just feel like society just keeps downgrading. But, and then, people looking for attention and just, put it all out there out of desperation of somebody to give them attention or look their way or talk to them or whatever. It's like, but I don't think like they're a bad person. I just feel like, it's like caught up in this world or something. There's like, I don't know, there's other ways and stuff to do things or express themselves in a deeper, more meaningful way. But, not everybody has to be like me. Not everybody has to, talk however you want. It just has been an awareness, like a lot of us who, if you were alive back when I was, you went through a whole thing of cussing was, you talk like a sailor, you talk like a trucker and stuff. Now cussing is more like no big deal, but there's still some things that just it's just like, ooh, that's cringy. One thing that's cringy is I really do not get this trend of people thinking it's, you know, I think that there was a TikToker who started it, and she would, I don't know, go in to take her morning dump and, videotape herself in her morning dump thoughts or something. And people thought it was so funny. So then everybody was like, decided, hey, that'd be fun. Let's all just go. And now you got people who just, they have horrible diarrhea and they want to, blast everybody with, the sound effects and want everybody to know what's going on. It's just like, it's just strange to me. I just don't get it. It's just like people just keep degrading themselves. It's like, but who are you hurting? You're gonna hurt yourself when you like degrade yourself. But people, in this world of darkness, nobody sees it yet. But the lights are gonna come on. That wall that is dividing between the light and dark is gonna fall, and all of a sudden the light is gonna be shining so bright, and people are gonna be so shocked of what they see. And they're going to be overwhelmed by the sight of themselves and the sight of themselves that they were unaware of. And we're so close, I'm telling you. It's like we are right at the thing. Like anything, it's just going to start going. And just like right now, where I keep hearing like the patriots or the people who follow all the government and shit. Like, I think it is so fucking passive, these people who are just waiting for November 2024. Things are going to change. What the fuck? What in the fuck is going to change? Like, come on. When you want change, you got to start making change. You can't sit here and think something's going to change. I mean, everything should be showing you it's not going to change. Like, they're going to place whoever they're going to place. It has nothing to do with what you have to say. But everybody just hangs on to having a savior. And I think that's what prolongs it. Is what keeps us, is the necessity that people feel, the need. Like, people got to see, you got to save yourself. You got to take action in your own life. You can't just sit here and be dependent. You can't sit here and think, well, all our problems will be fixed next November. It's like, it's just not the way it works. And what was the other thing I was going to say? Now Stella's on the move again. So we'll wrap it up. But there's something else I was about to say. But the people, yeah, it will be when the light all of a sudden shows the people to themselves. There's things that were like acceptable in one world, but then they're gonna see that they're gonna feel judged. They're going to feel super judged, but they're not going to realize the judgment's coming from within. It's not everyone out here judging you. It's you judging you. And you have to go in and release that judgment. You have to go in and do the work so that you can release the judgment you feel. So you can, start living a more healthy, and it will just start moving you up through your Kundalini too. The more you release, every time you release things, and just every way that you interact with this world is how you got to see, is where you've adapted, where you have let darkness come and, create a bond, something you can hold on to in this world. There wasn't enough light to hold on to, so people just adapted to the dark, just like, an animal living in a cave. Like moles don't need their sight, but they need to have a different awareness. So people have become adapted to this dark environment. And so we're moving out of this dark environment into a higher environment where, I think that, you will want to be seen in a respectful manner, where you want people to look at you as like with respect. Like they look up to you, not just like, hey, look at this. I got the, I don't know. So, anyways, I think it's all just stuff to think about. I'm not trying to force anybody to do anything. I can just share what I see, share what I've noticed, share what, comes to me and how I see things. But I'm definitely not trying to, create a cult or something. Have everybody, like, I mean, I can't help but have that on my mind, especially when my kids are, I don't know, they think that that's what I'm doing, I guess, and that I'm way off on some kind of weird tangent or something. Like, that woman didn't do anything. That Amy, God of Amy, can you hear how hard it's raining? It's been raining all fucking night too. God of Amy lady or whatever, she literally did nothing to take care of her health. She was so in ego. She would drink alcohol every fucking all day long. She didn't just drink at night. She didn't just have a glass of wine before she went to bed, or go down and have a beer with a friend or something. No, she got up in the morning and started drinking vodka. She's like my dad. I mean, I could see her fucking liver failure coming. And then she wasn't eating any food. Lots of people who are alcoholics stop eating food. It has nothing to do, like, they drink alcohol instead, and it stimulates or it suppresses their appetite or something. And then all of the people who surrounded her, I mean, I think a lot of them drank a lot too, but they all stopped eating. They all started getting so skinny. But they weren't doing it out of being healthy. They weren't going out and getting prana and or doing anything. Like, they just were starving themselves. Like, how is that connected to your mind, body, spirit? How are you connected to spirit if you are starving yourself? And you've got to listen to your body, love your body, take care of yourself. And so it's the loving yourself and taking care of your health, and not becoming lazy and dependent on another, the system. Running to them, here, give me a pill, I don't feel good. Because I see all these people who say they've broke free from the system, and they're all running to the doctors and the hospitals right now. They're running in, and it's a setup. Like, I mean, it blows my motherfucking mind that they are trying to make, like, oh, Ohio, that's our point A of where now the sickness has come, where, yeah, but a lot of them are traveling to China. And then I'm sure it has nothing to do with all the chemicals that were all spilled and exploded all over the place. Oh, nothing to do with that. And all these people and kids are dying. Like, it's nothing to do with that, though. Like, these people just want us to be so stupid. Like, I can see why they feared this, because I mean, it's absurd. It's totally absurd. But most people, they just don't pay attention. They're busy trying to get from point A to point B, and they give you all this filler. You got to drive here. You got to do this. You got to do that. And, and then they cause conflict along your route. They'll, cause problems with traffic and stuff. All this stuff is all done. It's like the fucking Truman Show. It's all on purpose. We don't even, well, you watch and see what happens with our travel when we get to this next stage. There's not going to be this, we're driving in the car, we gotta go all these, we're not going to go on these flights. I think people are going to freak the fuck out when, I think there's going to be airplanes that are going to start falling out of the sky. But we're going to use, it's going to be like a magnetic kind of force that can propel us to move, like a spaceship or something. We'll move differently. And then I'm sure teleportation is going to be a thing where, you're going to be able to you're going to be able to go someplace and you're going to be someplace else in a matter of seconds. Our stuff is going so far advanced, but that's why you can't be bound back with flesh and blood. You can't sit here and be bound back by this concept of this reality, especially when there's so much different realms and shit all around us. Like, that should be tipping people off. The fact Elon's trying to fucking make a thing like hitting into the firmament, that should be tipping people off. There's so many things around people to be seeing. Elon is definitely playing a big part, because now he's out there saying there's no way he's going to sell out to people who going to bow down to the people who want to do commercials or whatever, because then they can get control. And so then people have to start seeing it. And all these people, like on TikTok, who are trying to make their fortune by selling shit on TikTok. It's like, you got to see. And I just saw someone talking about that they keep making it where TikTok makes all the money and you get like a half a cent. It's like, yeah, they're not there for you. Like, you have to go develop things that are good for you. Stop depending on people and things that are not good for you, because those things are there to take from you, to suck your energy out of you, to keep you dependent, to keep you small. And at the same time, they interfere with your development. They interfere with your self-esteem. They interfere with your health. So you've got a lot of things that are happening. And so taking notice of any of them, taking notice of your health. You know, if you got a health problem, start looking into natural things and seeing what you can do to improve it. And just keep remembering, you're writing this out. You're doing everything you can to take care of yourself through all these sicknesses. And, you know, you can't sit and stress out and stress out. Like, there's going to be, cancers are going to be cured in an instant. So even if you're sitting there stressing out, oh my God, you know, because I can sit there and think like, you know, I could very well have any of that stuff growing in me. You can't get hyper focused on that, because then you feed that. And you want to not feed that. You want to feed something different. You want to feed your soul. You want to feed your health. So you don't want to feed your fear. So you got to let go of the fear, let go of what could be, and start focusing on what, you know, your present moment and what you can do. What do you have control over? What do you have power? So anyways, you know, just, you know, there's a lot. There's a lot. I just was shocked hearing that DJ and being like, oh my God, how many people are really still trapped in this illusion of this planet? Because it's all lies. It's all a big fucking lie. And don't get caught up in flat earth, and no, everything is binding you. It's holding you down. This is realms. We are on a flat plane of existence, but there is a lot of different realms, even on our plane. We have got giants living in mountains. We've got ant people living under the ground. We got reptilians that are fucking in politics. Like, I just saw this. There's so much footage of this wild ass stuff now. There's even a psychiatrist or something out who's being interviewed, her reptilian clients that she works with. And she was explaining, you know, and how they feel so judged and all these different things. I was like, I must be reptilian. I guess I'm a reptile too. But it is, I keep seeing these footage and stuff of like these people standing. Like, a lot of the people are talking. It seems like they have masks on, but a lot of the people around them, they're sitting there and their eyes start changing. It's real creepy. So all this stuff is like, it's everywhere around you. But yeah, there's all these different beings. I mean, the motherfuckers who've been running this place are fucking relics. The goddamn vampires. They're the goddamn folklore. They live off of us. They fucking use us. And then there's other ones. These, what are those people called? Something, Antioch. I don't know. The dark beings that linger around. Like, I just think of them as dark energy. But they have a name. It's like in the Bible, in the Sumerian tablets or something. Can't think of what they're called. But all these things are around it. They're all right there. Like, I'm sure there's somebody right here. We just can't see them. I'm sure there's somebody right here. We just can't see them. And those footages that are weird, where those people start turning and seeing something. And it's like, what in the world could they see that could be that scary? And I don't see it, but when they're turning. But I just saw footage where somebody was showing that happened to a fox. And then they said to a lion. Well, then the people in the comments were saying that the lion was bit by a black mamba. That's what happened to him, but he was definitely looking up. And then he was spinning in that circle, and then he fell. So maybe he got bit, and then he just like went into some kind of seizure or something. And maybe that's the same thing that happened with the fox, but it was doing the same thing. It started looking up, and then it started trying to turn the circle, and then it started, and then it fell, and then it started seizing. Yeah, I've seen so many of those with humans and stuff. But, there's other realms. They're right here. And it could be very well that, it's, the people freak out because a pocket opens up right in their face. And, it could be, it's probably a relative or something from somewhere they're really from. But it freaks them out. And the people are just like, come on, you're going with us. Let's go. And pulls them out of this realm and takes them, and then body falls down. Because there's all going to be everything that can happen is going to be happening. And I've seen the craziest shit be happening. So, and that's what I've been saying the whole time. Everything that can happen is going to happen. It's, it's what the universe does. It's wants all experiences. And so, some of us, we don't even know what we're here to experience yet. So just buckle up and let's just ride this out and just keep going. Just keep going day after day. Just each day, you just got to get up and just take that day. Just take that day on. You just got to get through this day and ask the universe for, showing you what you need to see and bringing you the people that will help you through your path. And then always go into being mindful. What am I learning here? What am I supposed to be seeing here? What can I do? What can I grow from this? How can I benefit from this? Because even though it feels like things are happening to you, it's really happening for you. And once you change that attitude and you get out of that victim and you start seeing like, oh, this happened for me. Like I can grow from this like a bug. This is like I'm getting a badge of honor here. And start seeing that you're getting gifts. You're becoming developed. You're growing. You're doing exactly what you're supposed to do. So anyways, you keep doing it and I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.